Yeah, this is the format from now on. Hello old-timers and newcomers, I am Cole Scratches, and I can't afford a new SD card. So, this review about found footage is going to be worse because I am using found footage techniques to make this review. The irony is not lost on me. But it's been too damn long since I got to do this, and if you weren't going crazy, I was. But the thing is, I have less than a week to do this, and I don't know, I just wish there was something I could do to come up with something. I just wish there was something that was, shorter than that, like maybe half an hour, or maybe even just 10 minutes. You were born in the 90s and didn't watch this show, you have no childhood. You were a well-adjusted youngling with a ton of friends who didn't need cartoons to have fun. And if you somehow found your way to my channel, let me tell you what human beings don't like about you. Because I'm not gonna tell you what the show is about. Humans, no. The misadventures of the three Eds are as iconic to Cartoon Network as Johnny Bravo or Cow and Chicken, and in my humble opinion, it tops them by a mile. It has all the quality slapstick comedy any mature kids show should have, but because it was run by Danny Antonucci, who had experience working on kids shows but gravitated towards the more mature and edgy in his personal work, the show was delightfully mean-spirited. In any other kids show, if a character is a selfish, greedy con man trying to make his way to someone's allowance, they're the antagonists of the show. Here, they're the frickin' main cast. Not to mention, off the top of my head, I can't remember any other kids show that did this. This was among the few kids shows that owned up to the fact that when adults aren't around, all kids can be cocks. Spoiled, arrogant, mercurial little bullies. Except for Johnny, who is too pure for this world. I'm not gonna tell you any of that, because you should know. But more than malicious slapstick, the show could be unexpectedly clever, like the time they made fun of people who picked the show apart by having the Eds literally pick the show apart.
Everything's broken! Fix it now!
Or this blink and you'll miss a bit of hidden gold.
Quack, quack! Hey, you're gonna hurt somebody! This ain't a cartoon!
It's funny, because it's a cartoon. The Anvil said AKA, and the show was produced by AKA Cartoon. And that voice is not good for my chords. But what I want to talk about specifically is the time Antonucci, with the help of Jeff Burner, channeled his inner Panasonic-wielding auteur and gave the Eds a camera for shits and giggles. Resulting in probably the most peculiar bit of found footage media I have ever taken a look at. The episode begins with the local global jet-setter Rolf doing something intriguingly bizarre, snorting the ground like an errant canine.
Hiya, Rolf! What you doing there, guy? Silence! Rolf must brood!
I read somewhere that someone accused Antonucci of racism over Rolf, with him being an immigrant who is portrayed as not a simpleton, but very out of touch with modern life. And having peculiar traditions involving meat.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, so give us some cash!
And fish.
Good, yes? Let me join you.
And I would just like one of these people to come up to me and explain just what culture Rolf is supposed to be a parody of. Anyway, Rolf picks up a scent and follows it into one of the cookie-cut houses to find Ed and Double D playing Aquafit with chickens.
Ed, this is so wrong! Rolf's sure to discover his chickens are missing!
Hammer to the head, Double D.
All is forgiven.
Anyway, Ed's obsessions with chickens is well known.
I didn't even know they had magazines like that.
But watching this show again, I realized that wasn't always the case. In the first season, it wasn't even mentioned until episode 11. And I realized the same thing was true of Rolf. See, Rolf has always been portrayed as a mostly easygoing, happy son of a shepherd. Which I have to admit actually does sound like an insult. But you get away with his work, the gloves are off. He will throw you over the rainbow. His rage is immediate, deliberate, and explosive. Which makes his reaction to this all the more hilarious.
Please excuse Ed. He meant... Let Rolf understand this. I suppose disgracing Rolf is okay to you, Ed Boy.
And even if you aren't familiar with the show, seeing Rolf's eyes bulge like that is still so bizarre it makes you laugh. But this isn't what the show is about. This is just a hook to draw you in. And when the premise does come a-knocking, it pulls the rug out from under you and keeps you guessing what'll happen next.
You have squeezed an orange rind in the eye of Rolf! Return the chickens or Rolf will...
I think most of the episodes work like this in one way or another, but the show is so surreal it still keeps you on your toes and has you guessing what is going to happen. And very rarely is it ever predictable until you've already watched it once. Well, aren't I a spoilsport? The plot forcefully ejects Rolf, as Eddie has received a package from his brother and is really excited about it. Look at the adoration he holds it with. How happy he is his big brother sent him something. Even if it is addressed to Pipsqueak, his brother was the coolest kid on the block, and to receive anything from him is an honor, even if it is...
It's baby stuff! What's he think I am, a 2-year-old? Cool!
In the early days of the show, Eddie was simply greedy and ambitious, but as the show went on, it became clear that a lot of it is linked to his older brother. He wants to live up to the image he remembers his older brother by, and hopefully gain his brother's respect someday. The thing is, you don't need to watch every other episode of the show to get that. You just need to watch his reaction during, after, and before he opens the package. Animation bliss. Eddie's mood is soured for a brief moment, before he realizes he can just mail himself to his brother and show how much he's grown. And that goes about as well as you can expect.
Why, if I were you, I'd write a book, a biography of sorts.
You don't get out much, do you? If I were me, I would make a home movie.
Does anybody else miss home movies? I mean, I know today every 5-year-old with an iPhone has a vlog, but back in the day, getting a videotape from distant relatives with their home lives, or sitting down to watch the vacation tape of someone you know, actually was kind of a big deal. It was kind of like a barbecue, or going to the cinema. It was a small event. God, I miss the cinema. Luckily, this is a cartoon, where you can pull whatever you need out of your ass.
Why do you keep a camera in your dryer, Ed?
What?
I love Ed. He's a goofy, turkey movie-obsessed nincompoop who has no idea what he's doing half of the time. It's like we're twins. Also, that rattle, he's going to keep it around throughout the episode as a symbol that no matter what, this is all incredibly childish. Antonucci is very subtle like that. Now it's time to get the show on the road and actually get into the found footage part of this mess. Eddie, the consummate conman, has the stroke of genius to not actually show his brother what his life is like, but what he wants his life to be. What could go wrong?
Boy, being rich really stinks. What the heck are you doing? Don't film that!
Yes, what indeed. The plot of nearly every episode is for the guys to come up with a scam and then it all goes wrong. What's fun is to see how it all goes wrong. And what makes this episode unique is the faux camera movement. So let's talk about that. In general, the background animation is very static, especially in the first 4 seasons, before Antonucci switched to digital animation. This switch allowed for more vivid colors and more energetic animation. The way the illusion of movement from one place to the next was achieved was a combination of forced perspective and cuts between different locations, and occasionally...
An original scene transition. Interesting.
But camera movement is dynamic and energetic, especially in the hands of an amateur cameraman. So how does one imitate camera movement against a static background? The same way all found footage does it. Static and crossfades.
Come on, I got an impression to make here, remember?
So yes, the found footage angle is very awkward in this context. And let's acknowledge the fact no camera includes the heads-up display in the video. Still, it is a cartoon, and it wouldn't be entirely clear it's supposed to be seen through a camera without it. So then, what is the point of the found footage angle in the first place? Well, the running gag of the show is for the guys to try and scam the other kids, and failing pretty spectacularly at it. And it's usually Eddie who comes up with the scams, and the reason he wants to scam people is he wants to be cool, like his older brother. So this episode establishes two things. One, it establishes this is Eddie's underlying motivation, and two, it makes a joke of the joke. Eddie wants to appear cool to his brother, so he pretends he is cool, only for it to bite all of them in the ass. In that sense, what is usually a very surreal and surprising show actually gets fairly predictable in this episode. Eddie is by far away the least popular of all the Eds, but he has to pretend it's the other way around with everyone they meet to convince his brother otherwise. Oh look, there is Kevin, who usually beats them up. So Eddie pretends he usually beats Kevin up. Oh, I wonder what'll happen.
Slow down, Kevin! I was just kidding! Stop, please! Don't! Look at him bounce, Eddie's brother!
Oh look, Sarah and Jimmy wants to use the swings, so Eddie demands money from them first. And Ed, who happens to be terrified of Sarah, is much stronger than Eddie. Oh, I wonder what'll happen.
Ed here's showing Sarah what I'll do to her if she doesn't take a hike. There you go, baby sister.
But it is broken up with the occasional weirdness, like Ed swallowing the camera.
Man the helms! Dive! Dive!
Come to think of it, war humor is a recurring gag in this show. Makes me wonder what Antonucci is into behind closed doors. Anyway, after Double D retrieves the camera, the way it came, thankfully, Eddie pretends as if Naz is his girlfriend. Oh, I wonder how that will go. To be fair, the always playful Johnny is a bit of a wild card. I did not expect him to steal the camera for a game, or for Eddie to bury him alive.
He scares the birds away, what can I tell you?
However, in a rare moment of learning from his mistakes, Eddie came to realize that acting as if he's cool with the other kids would only backfire. So instead of talking directly to Rolf, especially considering this morning, he has Ed dress up as Rolf. But maybe he shouldn't have stood right next to Rolf's yard.
Hey, Rolf! Tell my brother how important I am. I forget.
Ed boy! Run away!
With all of the neighborhood kids depleted, there's not much left to work with. Except for the junkyard. It's scary, there's no one there, and Eddie can claim it all for himself, with no one there to say otherwise. It's quite dull. So this is where they get creative, with the camera angles.
It's an ultimate hard-boiled egg boiler. By simply tossing your...
Look natural, stay with me. I'm creating dynamics, Eddie.
Don't get arty on me, Double D.
I will find a way to use that clip in my reviews. But yeah, there was something missing, wasn't there? You couldn't have an episode about Eddie pretending to be everything he's not without the Kanker sisters making an appearance. They molest Eddie, and then the Eds run away like cowards. It's funny because he's a boy. But they haven't actually found any way to convince Eddie's brother Eddie is anything all that special. So let's throw a party! With all of his fans, the neighborhood kids who hate him that are now smiling and still and flat. Oh, except for Rolf.
You have vandalized Rolf's face, and you have stolen Rolf's chicken shit again!
Well, for some people that's the only way to make friends. I heard. And so the episode is bookended, with Rolf beating on the Eds as the camera batteries run out.
I think your brother's got the picture, Eddie.
And what did I think of it? Why did I even make this video? It's a 10-minute short of a kids show that spans 65 episodes. 130 if you count all of the shorts, and even more if you count the specials, and one movie. The show remains the longest running Cartoon Network original, and one of its most successful, broadcast in 120 countries, and, if I may be so vain, one of the most important shows of my childhood. So the show, there's no question about its importance, but the short itself isn't all that special. I don't think a lot of people even like it. I found all of one top 10 video that even mentioned it, and it was from Watch Mojo. So is it my favorite episode of all time? Absolutely not. But is it a perfect way of introducing someone to the show who has never seen it before? Well, No, I would argue that's still the pilot. But is it a accomplishment of found footage showing the intricacies of the technique while being all the more impressive because it's animation? No, not at all. So, why am I talking about this? Because it's 10 minutes long and it didn't take me a week to write the script. But next week, I am making up for it. Next week, I am reviewing the Swedish Blair Witch Project. I'm dead serious. That's a real thing. It does exist, and I am going to review it. Thank you all for watching. I have been Cole Scratches. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, follow me on Facebook and my art channel. And I hope you will see me again next time to take another look at what I found.